Hi, everybody. Welcome into today's show here on JTV. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency, Pataki Orthodontics. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Appreciate you listening and watching online and on TV. I'm David Rice. That's Adam. We had a really good weekend of football. Again.
Georgia won the SEC. They did it.
Yeah. How we watched that game, we'll get to.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weirder than anybody else thinks.
Yeah. Weird news coming up. We had hockey. We had Hockey Friday.
Yeah. Yes, we did.
Again, the boot stays with the Titans.
Yes, it does.
Great. I didn't watch the whole broadcast because I was covering basketball, but great call by Matt Kibbe and Max
Our
Fritz.
announcers killed it, man. They were so good. It was a great game. It was a great game, a great call by them. So it was fun. It's always fun doing hockey.
Yeah. And you didn't get killed by a puck.
Dude, there were two that came really close, and Brandon was like, whoa, when one of them went by me because it was close, and I was like, but I went up there, and when I rose up in the lift, I looked behind me, and I could see the dent of the one that hit. Because last year, the one that we have on camera, that was from a couple years ago, last year, it hit the wall up there and dropped into my lift. So, yeah, but it didn't get that as close as it has in years past, but I lived. I survived.
You survived. That's where we begin today's show. Lumen Christie. Hockey this past Friday at Optimist. They had by the way, while we're showing the highlights here, they had a youth tournament going on too before and while that our game was going on. So when I got to Optimist at like 3 for those coach interviews, I was like, who else is here at 3 o'clock? I couldn't find a parking spot.
It was packed. Good job on those interviews, by the way.
Thank you. I surprised that went well on my end because I'm not a hockey guy,
yeah, but
as I've documented before.
That's how professional you are. See?
Oh, okay.
Professionalism.
Luke Dumont scored a pair of goals for Lumen. Zach Jacola, another shutout, in the net for the Titans. Any other, I guess, notes or takeaways? Any other thoughts from
nuggets?
Any other nuggets from the game?
I mean, Lumen kind of did what I feel like I always say this when I'm talking about Lumen, but Lumen did what they do.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you were hoping to see Jackson United make it more of a game, but Jacola, whatever however you pronounce your name, I'm sorry. But he was so good. He was so good, and Lumen Christie took advantage of power play and stuff. So I mean, that night they were the better team, but guess what? They face each other one more time. You never know what's going to happen.
And that's what I had asked Coach Grimes about when he came in, and I talked to him before the game. I asked him, and if he told Matt Kibbe too. He said, "Don't remind me," but I was like, you haven't beat this team. It's pretty well documented. You haven't beat this team since whatever it was last. How, because their team has played better up to that point, how are you guys going to come in and get this win today and turn the series around? And he said, our goalie has to play well. I mean, obviously they all have to play well, but our goalie has to be our savior and right from the beginning. So,
Right.
And then ended up being 5-0. And I watched a few minutes of it, and it was like 3-0, like with 3 minutes left in the third period. I'm like, okay, so it's going to be 3-0. It ended up being 5-0.
Yeah. Scored a couple late goals, and I think towards the end, Lumen Christie was skating a little bit better than Jackson United towards the end. I think maybe they had a little bit more energy in that late third period, which, they took advantage and they were able to end it.
And that's what Coach Brady had talked about, too, when I talked to him before the game. Because a few of those kids were on the football team. They only had, like, a full week and some change to even get back into hockey mode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they had 5 or 6 players. Their first couple games of the year, they had a shorter bench, and then those kids, started playing hockey again, and they got all their guys back. So, and that he said that was good for them. Obviously, they'd been winning before, but having a deeper bench, go to more guys, helped a lot. And Lumen doing their thing, just like you said, 5-0.
Yes.
Over Jackson United. So we have the video highlights on our website, and then pictures on our website as well. Our photographer, Sarah, great pictures, as always. So we'll get to more high school basketball coming up at the end of the show, including Columbia Central over Addison from Friday. But, of course, what stood out in that game, Derek Sanders, senior for Columbia, 1,000 career points. So congratulations to him. There were, between boys and girls last year, I think there were almost 10 players who reached the 1,000-point mark last season, and that's incredible. So congratulations to him. Columbia has not a new boys coach, but a new girls coach this year. So part of the whole program there is sort of new and on one half. So I expect Columbia, as of right now, because I know Hanover just won 2 games over the went 1-1 over the weekend, but they lost to Grass Lake. Remember, we talked about that in last week's show. Grass Lake, historically, in boys basketball, has struggled. And it was the first time in my short lifetime that Grass Lake had beaten Hanover in boys basketball last week. Not discrediting Hanover, but, if that keeps going up and down as far as their games this year, I expect Columbia, led by Derek Sanders and the other senior leaders, to come out of the West in the Cascades. Last year, it was Hanover and Napoleon, and Napoleon won it. Was at that game at Spring Arbor, and Napoleon also got a lot younger this year. I watched them on Friday. They struggled. They lost to Michigan Center, but they have a whole new starting 5. Napoleon does. So, same coach. Coach Seidel does a great job. I like him a lot. So that it might be one of those seasons, you're younger and it's more of a developing year. But nonetheless, congrats to Derek Sanders, and definitely expect Columbia Central to be in the race for the Cascades. So, and because our winter sports season is officially underway, you can subscribe to JTV Sports. Not only basketball, but we have wrestling, we have cheer, bowling. Jackson High, they're the only team in the area who has this, but swimming and diving, gymnastics. So we have 6 or 7 winter sports happening. So keep up with all of it. For how much? 0?
0.0.
0.
Oh, that's right.
3 zeros.
3 zeros.
So subscribe for free to your favorite school, and you can do more than one school too. I still need to subscribe to like all 20 of them, or however many we have on there, and then you get your weekly email with everything. So,
or at least I need to just start signing random people up for every single team.
Noah Baker.
Yeah. I
Jackson
just sign him up for.
College.
Yeah, I'll just sign him up for every team. He'd love it. He'd love it.
Yeah, because I know how much he loves getting emails. So having 20 of them each Tuesday would be awesome. But and then for some of the schools that don't have as much content that week, sometimes our show shows up in the email. So they might see our Christmas special coming up in a few weeks come across their email.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's going to be a game.
And there's no betting on it.
No betting. Of course not. We wouldn't bet. We wouldn't bet on something like that, would we? There's no way.
We discussed it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be doing NCAA on the PlayStation, right?
PlayStation 5, correct.
Okay. the last time I played anything on PlayStation was last year's game.
Perfect. It's the same console. It's virtually the same console.
Right.
You know?
So we're going to be doing the 2 randoms and a big for the conferences, and then the 2 randoms and a big for the teams in that conference.
Correct.
So we're each doing a conference, right? We won't have the same conference.
Yeah, so probably we won't have the same conference, but you never know. But I know there's a good amount of conferences in that game.
There's only like 11 or 12 conferences in there.
Yeah, but I mean, when you think about that, trust me, if we're both going to get SEC or the Big Ten, like it's like, well, that's what we're going to go with. But who knows?
Right.
We might get stuck with a MAC school. That's why you go big.
Right. If I get stuck with like Ball State, like what Austin was saying earlier, if I get stuck with Ball State and you're Alabama, that
Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia. Texas,
that'd be deep trouble.
Oregon,
any
of the teams in the playoff right here.
But just to reiterate, we did this last year because I assume people probably don't know the backstory. We did this last year. We didn't air it, but we did this last year.
It definitely did not air it
with Madden, and I won 16-0.
16?
Yeah, I think it was
14,
16-0.
15, somewhere in there.
It was something in there. It was right around there. It was a weird score.
Yeah. Very low scoring battle.
I had a lot of field goals, I think, later, but yeah.
I had a chance to kick 2 field goals.
Yeah, but the kicking meter sometimes, man. Sometimes when everything's shaking and you just can't get,
I iced myself too.
You did ice yourself by
accident. I called a timeout on my own kicker. And then as the bar was coming back down, the meter went away, completely botched it like way wide.
Don't worry, so when we air this, the beginning of it will be a short little like 1 minute recap of that last game that we have. So a couple of the moments that we were just talking about, we will show that.
I don't know if we want to revisit that.
I think we'll just show it just a little bit, with a nice black and white filter with sad music and like it's like raining.
Hello, darkness.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I going to start off kicking or receiving? Because clearly I didn't know already.
Yeah, we'll make sure you know going into this one.
Yeah, but no, this will be I'm a lot more confident.
Good.
Than I was last year.
Good, because you were pretty confident last year. So you must be very confident this year.
I am.
Good.
For a number of reasons.
Oh, what's that mean? What's that mean?
Well, I think so. Do I have to wear the Lions jersey for this?
Yeah. So we weren't able to get it to where you were able to wear the Lions jersey for the Packers Lions game,
right? Because we talked about that on the show, and then it just didn't end up happening.
Yeah. But yes, I will for 100% guarantee. I will be bringing that jersey for that game. So that'll be your penance for the season long bet that we had. So, and then once that happens, it's over. You don't have to wear that Lions jersey ever again until next year when we do the same bet again.
But what if Green Bay wins?
They're not going to though. Even if the Lions do lose Ben Johnson after winning a Super Bowl, they'll
Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, possibly. He might stay. We'll see. I know that.
And then in 2 years when some of the big names leave because they can't pay everybody.
Everybody wants to come to Detroit. No big deal. We'll get other people, and we're good. We're good.
But I'm looking forward to it, and that's right before our Christmas party.
Yeah, so we're gonna film that, and then we'll be heading out for the Christmas party.
We were talking earlier, outside of the studio here. Last year, because everybody knew that we were playing this right before the party officially started, when we went over to the party and we walked in, everybody was like, "What happened?"
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Yeah.
Oh, Adam won, but it was only 14-0.
Yeah.
All that hype for nothing?
That's what I remember Josh saying. I remember Josh was like, he was just like...
But then he gave me like a death stare. He's like, no points.
Yeah, see, but that's the... hey, dude, here's the thing. You score points, the first time you score points in this game, it'll be better than the last game.
Thanks.
Well, it's true.
You still win 50-7, is that still supposed to make me feel better?
Scored 7 points. Nah, I won't be 57. I think you're going to be better at controlling the clock than that. I don't think I'm going to. It's going to be low scoring again because I think you'll be able to control the clock, but we'll see. If you don't control the clock, I'll control the clock. So it's just somebody is going to. So it's just whether you want to or me.
Well, what if I were to switch it up on you?
That's perfect. Then I'll
not run the kind of offense that if you've watched the show for a period of time,
you've talked about this a lot.
You know the kind of offense I
Yes.
like. So that's probably what everybody's expecting when they watch this. What if I switch it up?
If you don't run it, I will run it.
So what you're saying is you're going to go full.
Possibly.
Will this be a battle of two full?
Could be. Or I could bring out a new offense. I could be, maybe I made a playbook last night that had a lot of plays that you've never seen before. And maybe I completely designed it to counter maybe everything. Maybe just an offense that I can counter whether you come out with a air raid attack or a wing tee. Maybe I can have a defense where I can counter both. Just to be safe in case you do want to come out and start airing it out.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I've been practicing a lot.
Have you?
I have.
I need to get back on that game.
I haven't really much this past week because we've had a crazy week, but in this weekend. But before that, I was playing a couple games almost every day.
Cool.
So with multiple playbooks, different ones.
Perfect. I can't wait. Well, good thing that you have to select one before the game starts, and you can't just change it in the game. So, and I'll see which one you pick, so I'll know. And then it's, maybe I just have made multiple playbooks, so I have multiple ways of countering different things. You never know. I love trash talking.
I thought you could only pick one playbook. You just said you made multiple.
Correct, but if you say you pick this if you pick playbook A, I have a counter for A. You pick playbook B, I could have a counter for B.
Oh, okay.
But we'll see. I love trash talking about this. This is always fun, so I love trash talking about this game, and it's a yearly thing now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I am a lot more confident than I was. Last year.
Good.
I missed 2 field goals last year. Now, granted, I still would have lost like 14-6 or whatever. So I missed the 2 kicks. I think one of the drives you actually scored a touchdown on was when I had the kicking out of bounds penalty.
I probably scored off of that. I at least scored points off of that, probably.
Right. So that was those 3 mistakes is just what only,
Sure.
built it up.
And I think if I would have taken it a bit more seriously and wouldn't have messed around as much, I think it would have, that score would have been a little different. But I started doing stupid stuff just because it was like, this is fun.
I'm already beating him down. Let's make it fun.
Let me lateral it to some random lineman.
Yeah. Can you make linemen eligible in the game?
I don't think so, unless it's a weird play, unless there's a few plays in there that you can do that, but that's something they should do. I mean, you could, if you incorporate a lineman into, make a left tackle like a tight end, you could, but then at that point, he's just tight end. He's not really an extra lineman. So.
Okay. I'm just asking.
Okay. I mean, trust me, if you find a way to do that, that's cool. I'm not worried about it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well,
it's not like
our show after that, we'll find out who's upset and who's not.
It's not like I, in my free time over the past few weeks, hired a guy who is an expert at college football and taught me all the tricks to counter everything. It's not like I went on a site and did that or something.
So Adam went on a site, paid a guy.
I'm not saying I did. I'm not saying I did that.
He's made playbooks. So have I.
I love this. This is so good.
This will not be live anyway. This is taped.
It's taped, but we will show it Christmas time.
Yes. Coming up in Christmas in a couple weeks already.
Dude, I felt like it was like October, like a few days ago.
Well, I guess the event that we were at Saturday is kind of the first, Christmas right around the corner.
Yeah.
Because it's usually right around that time.
Right.
So.
Right.
When we come back, getting away from NCAA here.
Yes.
Before it gets too intense of a preview, we had a lot of Jackson area athletes officially commit to collegiate athletic careers. So we'll highlight them when we come back. Plus, the college football playoff. Some people are upset Alabama did not get in. I'm not upset. So we'll get to that when we come back. Welcome back here on JTV. Thanks to the Insurance Circle Agency. I'm not even wearing my hat today. I don't know what.
I saw you didn't have the hat on.
I just forgot about it.
Hey,
that's
okay.
all. You know,
there you go. It's still on the set.
For the set. Oh, there goes the other hat. That's all right. Oh, I got headphones on.
That's not the first time you've done that.
But thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency. I do have the mug. That's okay. Yeah. And thanks to Pataki Orthodontics, of course. They are doing different, I think, holiday like dress-up themes, different cool things at the office in Grass Lake, Hillsdale, and Coldwater. Jackson area athletes, several of them. A couple of them I don't have here. We will get to, so I apologize. But collegiate commitments, of course, the big one on here. This past Friday, right before the hockey game, Cadell Williams going to the Rockets of Toledo. Of course, as if you followed him for a period of time now, you know he was originally committed to Central, decommitted, reopened his offers, and Toledo. I was at looking on 24/7 Sports. Toledo wasn't even on like when Central was first on, they were even on the radar, and then signed with Toledo.
Wow.
So, going to a MAC school. So, congratulations to him. And you can play as a MAC school in NCAA.
That's right. So, maybe next year we'll see him in there.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you never know. Maybe in next year's game, if I get a random and I get stuck with Toledo.
That'd be pretty sweet. That'd be pretty cool.
Then that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I hope I don't get Toledo this year.
Yeah.
Also going to Toledo, Ava Golightly from Northwest Softball. Congratulations. Central Michigan, Bree Salt's catcher from Grass Lake Softball. Lumen Soccer, Kathleen Doan going to UNC Asheville. And Kate Starkey, Grass Lake Girls Basketball, going to Alma. That's always cool, especially the sports that we do live, to watch some of those athletes and then they play in college. And sometimes if you see them on TV or watch them, just as a fan, we covered as media, we covered them when they were in high school, and now look where they're at. So it's always cool. Like Kari Willis went to state and then the Colts. Early JTV, obviously way before we were both here, but Antonio Bass to Michigan. Trying to think of other major names. I can't think of any other major names. I know I'm probably missing a couple, but
for sure.
But no, it's always cool.
Noah would be awesome at that, by the way. He could probably rattle off like 30 different people.
Yeah. Yep. I don't think Noah's available right now.
No, he's not.
So congratulations to all of our area athletes and their collegiate commitments. So, of course, there you see the picture with Cadell and his family signing with Toledo. If he's still at Toledo, if they play Michigan, if they were to, will they make history and beat Michigan again, like
No.
2008?
No. I'm sorry.
We also don't have Rich Rod as a coach.
That's true. That's my main reasoning.
That was so bad.
Oh, he was awful.
That was horrible. You thought Brady Hoke was bad. And speaking of Michigan, and we're going to talk college football when we come back, but I just want to focus more on that with the playoff. Michigan playing Alabama. I didn't expect us to get Alabama in the bowl game.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty nice reward after what we did to Ohio State.
You're calling playing Alabama a nice reward?
it's better than facing, let's just say some random ACC team. I can't even think of it.
If we would have lost to Ohio State, we would have been 6-6. Probably played in like the Detroit Bowl against a MAC
so it's just
school.
like, so who cares? But this time we get to face Alabama, a team that just missed out on the playoffs. Like, to me, that's pretty.
And a team that we beat in the playoff last year.
Yeah, so it's like it's like an actual meaningful game compared to like if we would have just faced some random school and it would have been some just game. Like at least this one means something.
Western Michigan is in a bowl game too. They're in the very first one coming up this Saturday night. They play South Alabama in Alabama. It's a home game for them essentially.
That's wild.
2 6-6 teams, Western against South Alabama. So when we come back, Clemson, we were saying no way they make the field goal.
I know, and then they did.
And they did, and they won.
Yeah.
So we'll get to Clemson, Oregon, and the Bulldogs when we come back. Welcome back here on JTV. Just had a debate during the break. That last playoff spot, which is what I wanted to get into now.
Oh no, I didn't think this.
We just went on and on about this on Wednesday last week. SMU was in, Alabama out, which is kind of what I expected to happen. Okay, if SMU loses, they slide down and kick Alabama out. So, Clemson, that's where I want to start off. We were watching with like a minute 30 left. SMU was down by a touchdown. They scored, tiptoe catch. So they're tied with like 30 seconds left. Clemson gets it to the 38-yard line. 56-yard field goal for the win for the conference to automatically get in the playoff for Clemson.
Unbelievable.
Freshman kicker, too.
Dang, I didn't know he's a freshman.
Yep.
He's just a freshman.
So Clemson, obviously their only chance to get in was by winning the conference in the auto bid. SMU still had a chance to get in if they were to lose. They did lose. And kind of what I was saying, if they lose, they slide down, Alabama is out. And that's what happened. Oregon, that was a lot closer of a game than I...
It was. They still handled business, but that was a lot closer.
Yep. They won by 2 scores, but it was that 8-point game for a majority of the fourth quarter. And then the Dogs of Georgia. You got your money.
I was very happy. Yeah, I mean,
your bet stayed alive.
Yeah, it did. They man, that game was crazy. Between Beck's injury and backup having to come in and overtime, had to have that kick to send him to overtime, and it was a perfect kick. And then Georgia makes that stand on defense. Then they were able to get down the field and score. I mean, ETN got in, and the Dogs were probably partying hard that night in the ATL. I'll tell you that.
Yep. I know you were celebrating.
I was very excited. I was very excited. Yeah, trust me, it stinks because it's like, for these kind of sporting events, I have a projector in my place. I got like movie theater chairs, so it's a whole setup with a nice speaker system and stuff. But instead, I was watching on my phone in the shower. That's how I got to see the end of this freaking game, dude. I won't explain why that happened. But
yeah, we won't share details, especially about Adam's shower.
Yeah,
there's no details on
but
that.
But if you know why. But yeah.
No visual on screen.
No, please. Let's cut to a clip. No. But
we actually have a clip.
Yeah. But no, still, that was such an exciting end to that game. And good on Georgia. It looks like Carson Beck is hurt. Looks like he'll probably miss that first game, if not the rest of the playoffs.
Well, they have a bye.
They do.
So they are off until so I can't. I printed this really
No,
small.
you're fine. You're fine.
Till New Year's Day.
Well,
anyways,
they said he's out for that. He's probably going to be out for that game.
so when Notre Dame plays Georgia in that game,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be playing with that freshman backup.
Yep.
Is he a freshman?
I don't know if he was a freshman or not, but he had like barely any play time because announcers kept mentioning that.
Right. Yeah, just Georgia, Texas going to overtime. Here they go with the snap. Here's ETN.
Yeah.
He's about to get the ball. And this thing. Oh, touchdown. Oh, my God.
It was, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I flipped.
That's our visual I gave you.
My neighbors definitely heard me react to that ending of that game for sure.
Is that guy okay?
Yeah, he probably
Does he need help?
Yeah.
What happened? He keeps saying, let's go. Not sure what he's waiting on. So I printed out the playoff here, and I quickly filled it out before the show. So, first round here from the top, Texas over Clemson.
Yep,
The obvious.
same as me.
I'll come back to the Ohio State-Tennessee game.
I have my answer, but we can come back.
Penn State over SMU.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame over Indiana.
Mm-hmm. No, same so far.
Tennessee, Ohio State. I said earlier was that one game.
Yep.
Even Kirk Herbstreit said that would be a toss-up. Because the way Ohio State got embarrassed by Michigan at the end in front of their home fans, their last time out there, they're going to come out to the shoe again against an even better team in Tennessee. And if they don't play good right away and run the ball better than they did in that Michigan game, their fans are just going to boo them off pretty much, and it's going to be ugly. It was a toss-up. But I took the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I also took that team. I just refused to say their name. But yes, I took that team.
Texas over Arizona State.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona State's had a good year, but they're not Texas.
Texas, other than Ohio State, Texas has got to be the most pissed off team in this. And you'll see what I have with them later. But yes.
Okay. Rematch, Ohio State, Oregon at the Rose Bowl. Oregon wins again.
That team that shall not be named, I have winning this game. I have them winning this game.
Over Oregon?
Yes. I think what happened, you have to rule out that.
They might not even beat Tennessee.
Well, what happened with that Michigan game, anytime it's that game, anytime it's the game, it's different. Ohio State's a really, really good team, and it's one loss makes people forget that other than there's a couple teams, but they were in that conversation of being national champions this year. And that one game is just, I think, going to fuel the fire. So I have them winning that. I have them winning this game. It's going to be an awesome game. I can't wait.
Undefeated Oregon
Goes down
is
to
going to
Ohio
lose in their
State.
first playoff game.
Yep, to Ohio State.
Okay.
He doesn't
I don't
like
know
it.
how I don't know how to respond
He
to
doesn't
that.
like it.
Boise State against Penn State in the Fiesta.
Talk about a toss-up for me. This was me. This was my toss-up game. I didn't know who I was going to pick.
I had my pick.
I assume you got Penn State?
Give me the Heisman winner, Ashton Genty, Boise State over Penn State, going to the semi.
I also have Boise State. I got Boise State.
Okay. Notre Dame over. No, I'm kidding. I'm not picking them over Georgia.
Oh, I thought you were going
Georgia over Notre Dame.
Even without Carson Beck, that team has a lot of weapons and is really, really good and really good. And surprisingly, the one knock on them was defense, and their defense stepped up against Texas. So I got the Dogs.
Semis. Texas, Oregon.
For you, yep. And then who do you got?
I got Dan Lanning and the Ducks continuing to roll.
Oh, okay.
A Big Ten team is going to beat an SEC team.
And then in mine, I have that team against Texas, and I got Texas beating them.
Oh,
so Texas.
Okay, I was going to say, if you have them beating Texas.
I got Texas is the first team in the Natty.
Okay. Boise State for me against Georgia.
Wait, you picked Boise? Or are you just saying those?
No,
are the two
that's
teams?
the matchup.
Okay. But who do you
No,
got?
I have Georgia over
Okay,
Boise
okay.
State.
I was just wondering how crazy you are.
I'm not that stupid. Well, kind of, but
I also have it for me. It's also Boise, Georgia, and even without Beck again, Georgia will beat Boise State, and he will be.
even though I really like Ashton Genty and Boise State.
He's awesome. I don't think he wins the Heisman.
And that's the media's fault.
It is.
Because I watched the Mountain West Championship Friday night. Benetti and Brock Huey were in the game. Brock made the point, if it was just coaches that voted on it, it would be Ashton Genty. But because the media votes on it and Coach Prime and all the news is always around him, it's going to be Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
So, my national championship, Oregon, Georgia,
That's fun.
Kirby Smart, and the Georgia Bulldogs will not win.
I figured.
I got Oregon winning it all.
Oregon. My goodness. Staying undefeated. First undefeated team in the extended
Something has
playoff.
not told me yet that they're going to lose.
Yeah.
Sure, they only beat Ohio State by 1, but that was a game that they had a bigger lead in. If Oregon keeps playing how they are this year, I don't see
And that's right.
I don't see why anybody would beat them.
That's right. I said earlier that Ohio State's only loss was to Michigan. You're right. They lost to Oregon, didn't they?
Right.
Yeah. So there's 2 losses, but I'm still sticking with
Michigan by 3 and then Oregon by 1.
Look how close those games are. People keep forgetting, man. And trust me, I ain't rooting for them. But my natty is Texas against Georgia for the 3rd time this season. And everybody's going to complain, even though both of those games are awesome. People are still going to find a way to complain. I have Texas winning it. In a season where they couldn't beat Georgia, in a season where they're going to finally beat Georgia in their final opportunity this year. I just think they're pissed off and they're ready to bulldoze any team they come across now.
So, what if it's not going to happen? What if Clemson were to upset Texas in the first round?
That'd be hysterical. My bracket would be broken instantly. It'd be really funny.
So, on Wednesday's show, we talked about this before the break. A little just more details on it, but we won't do it like conference winners. Automatically get in because some schools in our area, there's only one school in our area in that conference, and if they don't win, we'd have an out-of-area team in it, blah, blah, blah. And no auto bids. But on Wednesday's show, we're going to kind of do the same thing now that our high school season's over. Our top 12 high school teams in the area. Now, granted, there's only 15 in Jackson County, 20 that we invite to Media Day every year. So, 15 to 20. So, there might be a couple teams like the 11 and 12 seeds who have struggling records, but we're going to do our own top 12. You can probably imagine who the number 1 seed is and who would win it all anyways. So I'll have a list here of all the schools. And then, you kind of pick and choose from there. Okay, I think they're 1, they're going to be 2, they're going to be 3. So we'll have that on Wednesday. And I'm excited to see, once I fill mine out, which I'm going to do after today's show, I'm interested to see how you feel about that and if you would move anybody around.
Yeah, you'll have to see if you have like a first one out or something like that, just to see the first team, like the Alabama of this bracket that just missed the playoff.
Yeah, I'll do one first team out too.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
When we come back, we're going to wrap up with some high school basketball. A lot of games happened over the weekend, so stay tuned here on JTV. Welcome back here on JTV. David Rice, thanks to the Insurance Circle Agency. High school basketball before we go here. Of course, another full week of the season being underway. Boys basketball, I mentioned earlier, Sanders from Columbia had the 1,000 points. They beat Addison 66-31 on Friday. Pretty convincing win. Concord got a big win. They're a lot younger this year, too. 68-41. Grass Lake, 59-32 on Friday. Braden Lape, 23 points and 10 rebounds. Hanover won by 21. I was at the Michigan Center game. They beat Napoleon. The Mounties now fall to 0-3. They lost by 8. Springport's 3-0. And guess what? They're giving up less than 40 points per game. Pretty good for a high school defense.
Yeah.
Girls, Jackson Christian won 61-20 on Friday. There are a lot of blowouts on Friday. Wins for our local teams, most of them. Lumen Christi. This was, Divine Child is another school like football plays too, part of the Catholic League. And most of those schools are bigger than Lumen, and they're still beating these teams. Lumen 50, Divine Child 42. I put on here Kenna Hunt 26 points. Andy told me how great of a player she was. She's a freshman. I think number 1 freshman in the state of Michigan, and has 5 offers as a freshman. So,
wow,
only gonna get better, right?
Yeah.
Only 3.5 more seasons left. Northwest girls got a win, and Western with a big non-conference win. They went to Grand Rapids West Catholic and beat them by 10. 61-51. And then we had a lot of basketball, too, on Saturday. Michigan Center over J High. Lumen Christi won against Cranbrook by 15. Cadell had a dunk in that game. Hanover only lost by 2 to Marshall. Big comeback at the end. Luke Soper had 34 out of the 60 points for Hanover. Girls basketball, Hanover got the win. Grass Lake only lost by 8 to a very good Detroit Country Day team. Their non-conference games, they always schedule pretty tough. And I mean, yeah, they lost, but they only lost by 8 to a Detroit school. If you're Grass Lake, that's still pretty good. So 27 points for the Alma commit, Kate Starkey, and then Lape with 17 and 13. So we don't have any live basketball here till after the new year. But, of course, we'll still have pictures and we'll still have highlights on this show. Check out the locker room. And also we'll have our final football show next week, kind of a season wrap-up.
Nice.
So that's coming up. And then, of course, again, subscribe to JTV Sports so you can keep up with all of it. So coming up on Wednesday's show is when we will do our top 12. And during the break, we're starting to fill it out more here.
I like it.
Some of it's tough. I will give one hint away. The 2 seed was kind of debatable. I put Leslie on there, but, a lot of people forget about this. Grass Lake beat Leslie. A team that didn't make the playoffs, Grass Lake beat the team that made it to the regional. So, it's going to be tough. But we will do that on Wednesday. Also, we'll talk about more bowl games on Wednesday. The Pistons have been playing a lot better. I haven't really watched them much.
Yeah, but didn't they beat the Knicks the other night?
They did on Saturday.
Yeah, see, they're playing good.
At Madison Square Garden.
Whoa.
I know. So we'll talk Pistons. We'll have our high school 12-team rankings, bowl games, more high school basketball. So a lot to get to. So that's going to do it for us today. Thanks to the Insurance Circle Agency. And have a good day. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you Wednesday.
Go Dogs.